to reckon with when it has to do with tennis. So for me, yes, no opponent is small. We can't actually belittle any opponent. But the most important thing is that you shouldn't take any opponent for a ride, and you should as well give in all your best. So I see Iga getting the result in which she desires.
Iga Swiatek, of course, on the edge of getting another French Open title for herself. Impressive feat, impressive run, of course, it has been for the lady, and we look forward to see if you know, she would definitely get this one. But Michael, do you see Jasmine Paulini putting up a surprise come Saturday?
No, not against Iga Swiatek, who is also hoping to continue her fine form. But then again, at this stage in the competition, you can't actually rule out upset. Of course, we saw the result that just filtered in the ATP. We learned that Carlos Alcaraz had also hosted at Yannick Sinner, but many bookmakers actually gave it to Yannick Sinner.
Will you call that an upset?
Yeah, it's an upset because Carlos Alcaraz he has been hosted as the world number 2, taking that to world number 3. So, and Yannick Sinner have maintained an impressive run for this year alone, and that is why we saw Yannick Sinner dethroning Carlos Alcaraz from world number 2 that Carlos Alcaraz was to world number 3. So I think for me, heading into that game, looking at the form vis-a-vis that of Carlos Alcaraz, you may want to say yes, the odds actually favored Yannick Sinner to get through in that very one, but then it wasn't to be. That is why I said for me it was an upset, because I actually expected Yannick Sinner to get the better of Carlos Alcaraz. So it is an offset for me. But going back to the ATP that we were discussing, the WTA, I think for me, like I was saying, that upset is bound in this kind of competition, especially at this big stage. I mean, nobody saw some of the upset that we've seen in the WTA when the 17-year-old girl had to, Miriam Driver had to defeat one of the favorites, who is Arena Zabalenka. Also, Paulini also defeating Arena Rybakina. It's another big upset. So when you get to this stage in the competition, definitely you must hope for some of these upsets. But then, realistically speaking, I do not see Paulini, standing against the firepower of Iga Swiatek, who for me, I knew it, that she was going to get to the final looking at her form. So I don't see anything stopping Iga Swiatek heading to the final in this very one.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes down. Both the encounter today between Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner ended in a 6-2, 6-3, 6-3, 6-4, 6-3 victory. In 5 sets, of course, it ended. Carlos Alcaraz was able to stretch Yannick Sinner down to the 5 sets. It was really an impressive encounter. And I tell you, the man has got into the final once again for the French Open. Michael, impressive feat for Carlos Alcaraz, but he'll be facing the likes of Casper Ruud or Alexander Zverev in the final. Both players will be playing tonight, and we'll see how far they're able to go down. But what do you make of Carlos Alcaraz in the final of the French Open after a huge struggle for almost a year now?
It's a statement of intent from Carlos Alcaraz. There is this hype surrounding around Carlos Alcaraz over the years, maybe 2 or 1 year down the line. When we saw him with some of those flashes coming up, we say, okay, this is the right man to take up the shoes that have been left by Rafael Nadal, or even the likes of Novak Djokovic, whose career is gradually winding down for me. We tipped Carlos Alcaraz to be that poster boy of the ATP, but most time when you expect so much from Carlos Alcaraz, he just doesn't live up to that high hype. But this time around, he did it, and I hope he built on this confidence going forward, because personally, I do not see Carlos Alcaraz, upstaging in form Yannick Sinner. But for me, I think this is a statement of intent, like I say, from Carlos Alcaraz. Let's hope that he will maintain this. You watch the game, I keep my eyes and focus on the game. I was following it back to back. It was more like a back and forth encounter between two of them, and that is the kind of game you expect when two big names come together. You don't expect it to be a roller coaster ride for one of the player out there. So for me, I'm very much, are excited by the display of both players. Not excited in the sense that Carlos Alcaraz, won, but then excited because I actually saw some, flashes of the old Carlos Alcaraz that we know in the past. So I think for me, it's a big win for Carlos Alcaraz. Let's hope, like I said, he's going to leverage on this confidence going forward, so that possibly, maybe he'll come back to world number 2 or start contesting for the world number 1. Who knows? Because right now that Novak Djokovic is out of the way, possibly Novak Djokovic is going to drop to world number 2 come Monday, because Jannik Sinner will leapfrog Novak Djokovic come Monday to world number 1. Then it means that Novak Djokovic is going to drop to world number 2. I see Carlos Alcaraz coming very clutchy, courtesy of this victory. If you get to the final, maybe against Alexander Zverev or any of the opponents, I think he has a chance to win this very one. And you know what is at stake? 2,000 points is at stake. Yep. 2.5 or 2.3 million pounds as well is at stake. So these are some of the motivating factors that will also help him going forward.
All right, impressive one. Let's see how it goes. Can Carlos Alcaraz, of course, lay his hand on another Grand Slam? Let's see how it goes for the man. He'll be facing either Casper Ruud or Alexander Zverev, in the final, as said. So, but let's quickly take a look at the Nigerian Premier Football League, as Match Day 35 encounter will be upon us this weekend. We have some interesting fixtures, as Gombe United will lock on against Abia Warriors, and we'll see Bender Insurance will be in action against Rivers United, and Niger Tornadoes will also lock on against Bayelsa United. So it promises to be some interesting fixtures. But Michael, this weekend we'll also see Enyimba Football Club against Enugu Rangers. But Jerry, I really want to come to you on that. What do you make of the fixture? Both teams, Enyimba are currently second, while we have Enugu Rangers seated top. I think just 4 points separating both sides in the first and the second position as it stands. And the league is almost coming to an end. What do you make of this fixture?
Yes, it's really a clash of titans when it has to do with Enyimba and also Enugu Rangers. You can also see that Enugu Rangers have had a very fine season, outclassing most of the opponents in the MPFL, and also getting to the position where they are today. So we'll also look at Enyimba FC that have really done magnificently well in their pursuit for the title. So for me, the clash of titans is just going to be one big match that football fans and lovers around Nigeria would actually gather in the numbers in order to see. But for me, I can actually give it to Enugu Rangers. I think they might as well go home with 3 points, irrespective of where they're going to play.
I hear this encounter could possibly decide who will win the league, going forward. What do you make of, what has been between these two sides? We saw Finidi just stepping down, and taking over the Super Eagles job, and the assistant took over their hem of affairs down there at Enyimba Club, talking about Olaruwaju. And Finidi Lechuku, of course, is still at the hem of affairs at Enugu Rangers, still pushing things and telling the fans that he does not want to win the league, but gradually he's getting there. What do you make of the tactical prowess of both managers, getting into this particular encounter?
I think for me, you give it to the coach of Enugu Rangers, talking about Fidelis Ilechukwu. He has actually done well so far this season. Talking about tactics and prowess about these two coaches. Now that Finidi George has taken up the Super Eagles job, his assistant quickly stepped in, Olariwaju. In his first game, he lost the first game, which for me I think is quite sad. But then again, looking at the game proper, I think it's going to be a blockbuster game, a title decider, possibly. You have less than 4 games or 3 thereabout to go before the end of the season. And it also reinvents the old rivalry between Enugu Rangers and Enyimba. Enugu Rangers seems to be falling down their peak over the past 3-4 years down the line. So any encounter between Enugu Rangers and Enyimba over the last 5-4 years, it's not that it doesn't gather much momentum. Why? Because Enugu Rangers has not been up there for the last 3-4 years. But I think with the form of Enugu Rangers and their statement of intent so far this season, it has also reinvited or reignited that internal rivalry between Enugu Rangers. Of course, it's more like Arsenal, a team in London, in the other side of London, also playing Chelsea, who is in the other side of London as well. So these are some of the things that makes it even more interesting. Then again, it's just 2-point disparity between Enugu Rangers and Enyimba. Enugu Rangers is on 61 points, while Enyimba is on 59 points, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just 2-point disparity among two of them. So anybody that gets to win this weekend game between Enugu Rangers and Enyimba will stand in a pole position, to lift in the league. So I think it's going to be a title decider. It's a blockbuster game, one that so many EPL fans out there want to keep their eyes on, because I know that, interestingly, the fans of Enugu Rangers, they are very, very passionate. So also the fans of Enyimba as well. You see them coming out anytime at all that Enyimba is playing, and Enyimba looks like the Real Madrid of Nigerian Premier Football League, because of their rich history and culture as well. So all of these things makes the game even more interesting, and we're hoping that Enugu Rangers does the needful, because over the past couple of years right now, Enugu Rangers have not laid their hands on the league, and this is a great opportunity for them to win the league once more. Though we see their coach also playing the mind game, even with 3, 4, or 5 matches to go. When it comes to the media, he keep playing that mind game that Enugu Rangers is not, pursuing the league. They just want to finish in a very respectable position. That is mind game for me. But then it has been working for him. Let's hope that it continues to work for him this weekend.
Let's hope that the mind games of Fidelis Electrico, of course, will work for him this weekend. But talking about other fixtures, what we're seeing: Kano Pillars against Niger Tornadoes, Lobby Stars will lock ons against Remo Stars, and we'll see Abia Warriors against Bender Insurance. Heartland will lock ons against Toma United, and Rivers United will be in action against Shooting Stars. We'll see Sunshine Stars against Aqua United, and Bayelsa United will be in action against 40 Lagos, and Enugu Rangers, we told you, lock ons against Enyimba Football Club. Let's see how the weekend fixtures, of course, will pan out, and tell you it promises to be an exciting match 35 encounters in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back from that break, we'll take a trip to Uyo, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be locking horns against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news.
You're welcome back to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network, and it's time for we to talk about football and the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be in action tonight against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa and a World Cup qualification encounter at the Gosla Party International Stadium. It's been a very, very huge and a hectic preparation for the Super Eagles, even the Bafana of South Africa as well, due to some delay in terms of flights and getting down to the stadium. But Jerry, it's been a very high level of preparation. A little bit of struggle and hitches are down here, but the game is tonight, and we're going to see the Super Eagles of Nigeria locking horns against South Africa once again. And you take a look at what is happening at the moment. It's a crucial point for Super Eagles because as it stands, they are seated now fifth in the table. So it should be a must win for them tonight. First of all, what do you make of the preparation and talking about tonight's encounter? How do you see this one panning out?
Yes, thank you very much, Kingsley. When you look at the preparation, I was very, very surprised and astonished when I heard that some few players were not in camp up until, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday. They were still yet to find their way to Uyo. That was very disheartening. So those who are, imagine if those who are not in camp are the integral members of the team, then how do you get them to train with others? I heard that most of them were stranded. They were not able to get themselves coordinated and join up and team up together with it. So imagine a training session going on without the favorite, the star players. How do you think you can perform creditably well when it comes to playing against Bafana Bafana? So one thing about it is that next time I think they should be able to reconvene early enough. But the preparations have been ongoing, very fine. We are pleased with what the Super Eagles player talking about, the current coach, Finidi George. He has been doing well with the team. He has even invited other players we did not see during the just concluded AFCON early this year. So it's a win-win situation. It's a must-win situation for Nigeria against Bafana Bafana, especially on home soil, most especially because of our place in the table. So we can't settle for a draw. The least we need is simply 3 goals, and the 3 points is ours.
All right, I like the stretch, the stress, Jerry actually puts with that list. He said list is a draw, but for me, I think the Super Eagles should do more than a draw tonight. All right, we're being joined by Victor Sampong. You can call him Ghana Man. He's a sport journalist down here in Nigeria. All right, so we've just been told that Victor is not yet with us, and we'll try much we can to see how we can establish that connection with him. But Michael, we talked so much about
Intriguing, looking at how some of the teams that is in our group is also making the group even more competitive. I mean, it makes Super Eagles to brace up, because if they don't, we see with smaller teams. In quotes, if there's any team that is still smaller team right now in African football, we must also brace up to the occasion. Right now, looking at where we are seated in our group, is not in a favorable position. So I think we should do everything possible to get all 3 points. But then, going down to the nitty-gritty of the plannings ahead of the game, I spoke to a journalist friend in the morning while they were having their last training session, in order for the coach to cross the T's and dot the I's. He talked about the fact that there is this unity among the players, despite the late arrival of some of the key players and the newly invited players into the team. They've also gotten their baptism of of fire out there, because they were welcome, received into the camp as well. All joy and happiness in the camp, the players getting to go, making everything necessary and everything possible to ensure that they get all 3 points. So all those worries of late arrivals of player challenges here and there, the talk of Daniel Amokachi pulling out as the assistant coach, it has not distracted the players, neither the coach, because we have Finidi George speaking ahead of this game. He said that he's very relaxed and he's very, very confident. He knows what to do. And the players as well, some of them that spoke to some of our reporters yesterday, also aligned their opinion with that of the head coach, saying that they know what to do and they know what is expected of them by Nigerians and their teaming fans out there. Nothing will be short of victory, and all 3 points that will satisfy Nigerians at this point in time, because I tell you, it is a match that we need to win. But then, how do we get to win this game? It boils down to the tactical approach of Finidi George. If he can be able to get his acts right, by getting his formation, picking his first 11, is where he's actually going to have a headache on who to start and who not to start. Because we hear, according to our reporter this morning, that the likes of Samuel Chukwueze couldn't take part in their last training session today, courtesy of a knock that Samuel Chukwueze sustained. So that is a bit worry, but then we still have other players that can also come in and fill in the void and also get the players going. So I think everything is set. There is no excuses. Whether player arrive late to camp and all of that, South Africans as well, they have their own part of the challenges as well, due to their delayed flight and all of that. They also have injury worries and all of that. But then I think Nigeria, we need to tread with caution going ahead in this very game. Don't forget, it's this same Uyo ground that this same South Africa 2017 defeated the Super Eagles 2-0. And you saw how we managed, in quotes, to get over the South Africans in the last African Cup of Nations out there in Ivory Coast, where they were able to stretch us down to penalty shootouts, before we defeat them. And they have a young group of players that is very agile, very smart, very pacey wingers as well. They play like a unit, because bulk of their players, about 9 of their players out there, come from maybe 2 clubs out there, Memolodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. So this makes the encounter even more, poised. And people may want to say, yes, the odds might possibly favor South Africa because of the fact that most of their players, they play in the same league. They play majorly in 2 clubs and out there. So they have that unity, there is this synergy, there is this blend, there is this understanding. Then again, they've been in camp for the past 3 to 4 weeks right now, compared to the Super Eagles who just arrived camp 4 days ago. So these are some of the indices, some of the things that you may want to look at and say, yes, this game will definitely go down to the wire tonight. But I believe at the end of the whole, story, we will come out smiling, because I hope that Finidi George will definitely get his acts right. Tactically wise, substitution wise, his first 11 as well is also a key issue, because if you get your first 11 right, it will also help him. If he get his first 11 wrong, that may be the beginning of our downfall. But in all, I expect the Super Eagles, knowing what is at stake in this very one, to get us all 3 points come tonight.
You know, talking about Finidi George, Jerry, this is his first competitive game ever since he took over the helm of offense. We saw him handle the friendly encounters, you know, the 2 friendly games, which he won one and lost one. But when you take a look at it, this is his first, you know, competitive encounter for the Super as the head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You think the man is under any pressure heading down to this one?
In his words, he's not under any pressure. This is football, and he wants to really give in his best when it comes to coaching the Super Eagles. You know, he was part of the team some years back. He wants to replicate those good old times with the Super Eagles, coupled with the stars the Super Eagles have already gathered over the last 5 years. The Super Eagles team has been made up of key players in their club sides, and those players have been convinced to come down and also represent Nigeria. So one thing about Finidi George, talking about the former Yimba FC coach, he's a very settled manager. He's not perturbed by any situation, irrespective of the opponent. Remember, he was the assistant manager to Jose Pesero, and he knows to an extent this Bafana team because of the AFCON encounter they had, and which we had to knock out Bafana in the penalty. But for me, I really think that Finidi George has the antidote, at least to get us 2 goals and as well the 3 points from our home stadium.
All right, let's see how it goes. Super Eagles of Nigeria against the Bafana of South Africa tonight at the Goslar Avenue International Stadium. But Michael, so you're talking about this team. We have incredible players, of course, in camp. Ademola Lookman, Victor Boniface, Kelechi Iheanacho. Wilfred Ndidi is back now to the team. We didn't see him in the African Cup of Nations, but you take a look at his coming back. We're having the likes of Hassan Yusuf as well still in the mix, the likes of Oyodika. How, especially, you know, we've not been that very fantastic for some time now in our midfield, ever since we saw the likes of Ogone Karitebo, you know, dropping, and the rest of the midfielders. You know, there's been a little bit of, you know, shake in the midfield. How do you expect Finidi, of course, to be able to set up the midfield heading to this one?
It's very simple. The shaky start in African Cup of Nations, or the worry of midfield not being able to gel the last African Cup of Nations is boiled down to the tactical formation of Jose Pesero, who for me didn't play to the strength of the players. Alex Iwobi was played out of his position, and that is why he actually struggled in the African Cup of Nations. But then now that the midfield enigma himself, talking about Wilfred Ndidi is back into the squad, I think we will see a bit of stability within the midfield, and that will also give Alex Iwobi that more relaxed mode to be in the number 10 role, where he would love to function very well. So I expect Finidi George to set up his formation in a 4-4-2 formation, like we said yesterday. Setting it up 4-4-2 formation, he helped the midfielders to relax. Ndidi will sit and absorb the pressure while he will be playing a free role. The likes of Ademola Lookman can also, you know, take on the left wing, while possibly now that Samuel Chukwueze is out, I think Iheanacho also should try and you know, be deployed into the right flank of the field, because we know he has a very you know, technicalities on the ball, and is very good at maneuvering an opponent with some of those his flair out there. So the midfield shouldn't be a worry for us. Now that Wilfred is back, we also have Al-Hassan Yusuf as well, who is also a very good and a good combative midfielder. Not also forgetting Frank Onyeka also in that mix. So I think if you talk about the midfield, we have good midfielders that can also solve the puzzles of the midfield dilemma, quagmire that we also find ourselves since the mercurial midfielder Austin JJ Okocha left the number 10 role. We have not been able to find any midfielder that was able to reinvent and recreate some of those exciting moments within the midfield where he can be able to divide the midfield into two, just like the children of Israelites divided the Red Sea. So I believe right now there is no cause for alarm in terms of the midfield. I just think that the onus lies on Finidi George to get his tactics right. And I tell you, if he get his tactics right, South Africa shouldn't be a worry for us.
All right, Jerry, let's take a look at the defense. We understand in the African Cup of Nations, William Trusekong was very instrumental for the success the Super Eagles had against Bafana in the African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Ololo and I was also not left out, in that defense. We saw the brilliance of Kenneth Omeru as well. But this time, we won't be seeing these players, in the mix in this encounter for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Will it affect the defense of the Super Eagles in any way?
Yes, it will really affect the defense of the Super Eagles on one side, yes. Let me put it this way. The synergy they have created whilst they played in the AFCON, and now you're having a new set of players who are going to man this position. It's going to be really, really shaky. On one side, when you look at the likes of William Trostekong and Olaoluwa Aina, these are really, really interesting players who are as well showcased themselves in the just concluded AFCON tournament. So one thing about it is that we're going to miss them. We're not going to see their experience play on the pitch, and definitely it will be a huge blow for them if Finidi George does not field in players that can fit him to the shoes of these players. For me, I really think that our defense actually made carved the need for themselves in the just concluded AFCON, because when you look at it, the amount of goals we conceded and our defense stepping up and really,
I said, we won't be having those.
Yes, we won't be having those players. So it will be a huge vacuum for us, because when you look at it, the feats they achieved in the AFCON, and we're thinking they're going to replicate and improve on those feats, which they did in the last AFCON, and they're not in the frail or in the starting 11 when it has to do with a major game such as the World Cup qualifier against South Africa. Then it's a huge blow for us, because if we lose against South Africa, then our chances are very, very slim. So for me, it's a huge loss and a huge blow to us, but I just think we can be able to wriggle out of this puzzle we found ourselves.
All right, let's see how it goes. It is the World Cup qualifying encounter between Super Eagles and Bafana of South Africa. And talking about the attacking side of things in the Super Eagles, we have impressive strikers Victor Boniface, the likes of Ademola, Lukman, Kelechi, and Acho. Michael, it seems as if we have no worries at all when it has to do with the attacking side.
Yes, going by the look of things and the performance of these players that you just mentioned, they just concluded the season in their previous club. The likes of Terry Murphy was banging goals for fun in his club side. Lukman Ademola, you can't actually forget what he's able to do with a certain Atalanta. Victor Boniface, despite the injury worries for Bayern Leverkusen, yet he still ended up as their top scorer so far this season. Kelechi Iheanacho was very instrumental into Leicester City also gaining back promotion back to the English Premier League. So in terms of the attack line, you may want to say yes, we have everything going for us, but the question is, can Coach Finidi George also deploy the tactics that will suit these players? This is the question. It's not about Nigeria not having the best of squad. I think the squad that we have right now, they are good to go. They can beat any team here in Africa, not to talk about the world. We are very, very good. You just have to do with a coach that knows how to get the best out of these players, and boom, we go and get all 3 points. So we should not have any worries. Going by the level of the squad, the players that are in camp, most of them did pretty well for their club sides in the just concluded season. So I think looking at their performance...
Talking about worries, we have a certain Pesitao in the South African side. Don't forget, he just won the CAF Champions League with Ahali of Egypt. Had an impressive run. He's been firing.
Yes, but winning the African CAF Champions League is not equivalent to be equated with Lukman Ademola, who won the Europa Cup, and also for a certain Boniface, who also won double, the DFB Cup, and also the Bundesliga. That Bayern Munich have made a farmers league, but they came in between and breached that league. So you can't just single out one player's brilliance for the season, leaving the rest of 99.9% of Nigerian players that have been firing from all cylinder. I tell you, we should not have any worry at all if Coach Finidi George actually get his acts right. Then again, another thing we need to also talk about is about the good gesture of the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Yep. You know, the VIP ticket went as far as 3,000 naira. The regular seat went for 1,000 naira. But we got a confirmed report that the governor of the state, talking about John, Pastor Moeno, had also paid for all the regular ticket. Just find your way down to your stadium right now. There's still much time. You can book a flight. It's very close. Go there. You don't need to pay. And that will also help the stadium to come alive. Of course, you can't underrate the importance of the 12 men, talking about the fans. When they are there cheering the Super Eagles, that will also motivate the players to double their effort and see if they can give us all 3 points. And what we are saying this evening, give us 3 points. It doesn't matter if it is a half goal. I don't know how they are going to do it, but we have what it takes to get all 3 points tonight.
Jerry, let's I call it to wrap up this sport, but we can't go without putting up this news that Chelsea they've gotten a new player for themselves. Is a defender, Tosin Adarabioyo.
Tosin Adarabioyo, you mean to say?
Abioyo, and I'm trying to pronounce his name at this point. What do you make of this signing for Chelsea?
Yes, though I'm not a Chelsea fan, but a Premier League fan, yes, we have seen the exit of Thiago Silva, and that is a huge vacuum, very big vacuum. So Tosin left on free from Fulham, and now he has joined the Blues. Very, very good fit for the North London side, filling in the shoes of, I know he can't completely fill in the shoes of Thiago Silva, but for me, I really think that Tosin is a very good fit for the defensive lineup.
All right, we'll call it to wrap up this one, but gentlemen, let me put you guys on the sports. Michael, what's your prediction for tonight's encounter?
I'm not going for any prediction. What I'm going for is all 3 points, and I know we can always enjoy it tonight after the 3 points.
Jerry?
Well, Bafana may score first, but we'll get the 2 goals, and that's it.
That's 2 goals to 1.
Yeah, 2 goals to 1.
All right, mine is 3 goals to 0. I will pray that Super Eagles, of course, will get those goals. And the Goslar Pipe International, of course, Goslar Pipe International has always favored the Super Eagles, whenever they play on that ground.
It has not always. Don't say always.
It has not always.
It has not always.
All right, let's see how it goes. At this point, we call it a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow for another exciting edition of the show. Don't forget, Peace and Unity are the pathways to progress. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel. Enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it.
Play again.
Oh! By him. He does a right hand and down goes the ball straight away. Where? Oh, what a point to end it on.
So now it's
This is when you're at the